So basically, these are the key tabs which the system requires you to complete when you are uploading the project in the system. So I don't know, before I move to the actual system so that we can open the discussions, if there are any questions at this point.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Veja, for walking us through the system. Yeah, I think this was well articulated, but I think let's just hold a bit to see if colleagues have any questions. I think for me, I just have one under general information. I think there's a tab, and my understanding is this is under development partners, but there's that tab where we are expecting them to be populating information on the program and the sub-program as it relates to program-based budgeting. So I'm not very sure to what extent our development partners are privy to this information to say this project that we are implementing is linked to this program, is linked to this sub-program. So maybe this might also be one of the key issues why they are also struggling to populate, because of lack of this seemingly internal information. But with your experience, I think maybe you might want to guide.
Okay, thank you for raising that issue. Okay, I see Munashe.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Mine is around the rights to input and edit. You mentioned that only the person that has uploaded the project is able to then edit. So for instance, in a case where I'm going through some of the projects and I see that there's some information that is missing that I'm able to fill in, how am I then able to maybe fill in the gaps for an existing project that maybe I didn't upload myself?
It's okay, Munashe, noted. I'll respond. Any other issues?
These projects, you say the infrastructure or what?
Okay, so I want to respond to the two issues which has been raised. I wanted to go to the system so that I respond from there. But so the first issue which has been raised by Mr. Doba about the programs and sub-programs, and the issue was to do with the knowledge about these programs, whether the partners have knowledge on these programs and sub-programs, and how they will classify their projects. So basically what we did, Mr. Doba, we trained the development partners. We took them through these fields. So what we have agreed on this one, this is internal information which is difficult to be known by the development partners. So what we have requested for the development partners is to, because the information is mandatory, where there's a red asterisk, it means you cannot proceed without provide this information. It is critical because we want the support which is coming from the development partners to be aligned to the activities of the project, to the activities of the line ministry. And the activities of the line ministries, they are aligned to programs and project. So it is important to align their support. But how are they going to do that? For development partners, we allow them to put a default program, because once you click on this this arrow, it will give you the programs, a list of programs under this line ministry. So we agreed that it is not the duty of a development partner to ensure that the program which has been chosen or the sub-program which has been chosen is correct. It is the duty of the line ministry to do the validation so that once as a line ministry and you are the user, you have the credentials, you will see that there's a project which has been entered under your line ministry. You then have to validate the information which has been uploaded by the development partner. So it is the duty of the line ministry now to reclassify this project to a correct program, because it's actually difficult for the partners to pinpoint the correct program or sub-program. So we allowed them to just put a default program, which will allow then the line ministry to validate. Then
Okay, I think it's clear, Mr. Vesha, but maybe you might also then want to link this up with the question from Munashe, where the system will only allow whoever has uploaded the project to be able to edit it later. So how am I going to be able to do that for Ministry of Environment when the project was uploaded by UNDP?
Yeah,
Unless if it's something. Okay, it's okay.
Thank you, Munashe. I think I have to correct on that one. It's not like the one who have created the project is the only person who have got the rights to edit. If we go here on the institution tab, where I was explaining that that's where the rights are being defined. So if you indicate that the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development is the implementer of this project, automatically the user from the Ministry of Finance will also be given the rights to edit. So for the rights to edit, they are given to the one who have created and the implementing the implementing part. So I've made a mistake on that one. There are actually two users who are given the rights to edit. The one who have created the project and the user from the line ministry who is implementing the project. Or sometimes you might not want to edit the project. The system allows for communication between the one who created the project and the implementing ministry. So you can communicate through the message using the system. If there's anything where you need a correction to be made, you can type and send a message so that the one who have created the message, the project, will see that message and will rectify. So in other words, the line ministry can also communicate with the development partner to say, where you have put program 1, you should put it at program 3, sub-program 1, so that the partner then will rectify. Or even the line ministry can also rectify that problem, which is that a program or sub-program. So that's how the system works. I will show you on the system how you communicate. I see there's Emily is raising her hand. Emily, you can go on.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Mine was just a question to establish in terms of as part of strengthening the system. As part of strengthening the system, to say what is the plan in terms of addressing the marker so that it doesn't, I don't know how to phrase it, but I think Fesha, you'll remember on the previous meeting.
Hello, Emily, I lost you.
Down to demonstrate that it has got two components, and then also the other sticky issues that also have come from various meetings centered on the aspect to say who defines the climate change component amount. How best can we resolve that? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Emily. Actually, I have the Bulawayo workshop report with me here, which I think we will need to discuss. But I wanted us to discuss that report when I open the system, then showing you where exactly the problems are and what were the recommendations so that we can open the discussion to say, so what is stopping us? Yes, there were quite a number of recommendations which were made during the workshop, which were also put in the report. One of them was actually to align. There was a suggestion to say, can we align climate finance tagging categories with the real marker classification? And another one was trying to it was to do with the clarification and understanding on additionality concept, because that was also one of the major issues which we discovered that it was hindering the partners from uploading from tagging their projects. It was because there was a lack of understanding, especially when it comes to additionalities concept. So I think we'll open the discussion. Once I open the system, we go to the climate change marker. I will show you where the partners are indicating to say we've got challenges on this one. Then we can see how we can implement, if possible, the recommendations which were made during the Blawai workshop. So I don't know for now if you can allow me to open the system, but if you have questions, you can keep on asking while I'm opening the system.
I have another question, but maybe it's not necessarily directed at yourself. I wanted to just ask my colleagues to say, I think there may be need for further alignment with our existing documents, such as our NAP and NDC 2 and NDC 3.0. I noticed, like, for instance, under adaptation, it does give ideas as to the type of projects, but it misses key sectors that we've highlighted. Like, for instance, I think in our NAP we've mentioned tourism and some other sectors that weren't reflected. So I just wanted to raise that to say maybe we also need to further strengthen and make sure that there's alignment with our national or sectoral documents.
Yeah, you are correct, Munasha. I also picked that from the flow diagram that was presented by Mr. Vesha. But again, when it then went back to the system, I then saw that it appears now everything is arranged according to, especially for both there was NAP, there was that the expansion on that arrow for now for adaptation, and it appears now it was arranged as per sectors that have been identified in the NAP. So I think as we get into the system now, we also need to check for that, because that is very key.
Okay, so thank you. So this is the system. So this is the navigation panel which we're talking about. This is the workspace where you'll be able to create your project. So that's where you click so that you have a page which allows you to upload the information which we're talking about, the project title, the institution type, the project type, targeted beneficiaries. These are description and objectives. We just want to know more about the project. It's not compulsory, but it's important to provide that information. Plan date, start date and end date. And here, that's where our marker is. So like I said, the system wants you to indicate whether the project are mainstream, climate change or no. So if you say yes, it will open this workspace where you are supposed now to select where you have to indicate whether the intervention is adaptation or mitigation. Then you also have to indicate the project. You also have to indicate the sector. Is it in agriculture? Is it in water? Is it in health? So I think from the last comment from Nash, I think this is the area where again we need to make sure that the sectors which we have also correspond to the sectors which are outlined here. Because once we say it's adaptation and we want to know the climate change sector, then it has to correspond with the sectors which you are using, other than to have different sectors.
Yeah, so there is aligning now, unlike in the flow diagram that we presented previously.
Oh, yeah, it's aligning.
Yes. Yes. Because that one is aligning with the National Adaptation Plan.
But there's one, do you have this water and sanitation? Or maybe I'm mixing with the OPPT. Maybe.
Okay.
No, so if it is aligning, I think it's okay. So once you indicate the sector, now these are the markers. If it's agriculture, is it promoting promotion of drought tolerant crops? Is it sustainable intensification of just to show? So sustainable intensification. So these are the markers which we agreed to say that's what shows you the where the finance is going. Once you put this, the system now requires you to put a certain amount here. So the challenge now, which the partners are telling us, is that their projects is difficult. Actually, they are saying the requirement, the system required by the system is too granular. That is, they are not able to disaggregate. For instance, they can show that the intervention is on adaptation. And some they say, if you ask us to say how much is going towards adaptation, without asking us to say what exactly is going towards agriculture, what exactly is going towards the water. Some they have more than one intervention. So they are saying we are not able to provide that information in that order. But if you ask us to say, if it's adaptation, how much is going towards adaptation? If it's mitigation, how much is going towards mitigation? That one they say they can provide. But once if you say it's adaptation, then you further disaggregate to say under adaptation, we've got several sectors. And again, you need to disaggregate the amount according to sectors. That's where they are facing the challenge. That's where there's a major challenge. If I can show you on CAWEP, with I think that's where they also highlighted the challenge, because CAWEP, there's energy in terms of sectors, there's energy and agriculture. So when we were discussing with UNDP, they were saying we are not able to disaggregate what exactly goes towards the energy and what exactly goes towards the water, because we just displace. But when we engage the UK, the ones who are providing funding, I remember at one point they were saying they will be able to provide that information. So if UK can provide, it's okay. But the challenge now we are having is there are few partners who have got climate finance specialists like UK. I understand UK has got a desk which specializes on climate financing. So they can do, but for the rest of other partners, it will remain a challenge.
Yeah, I
So,
think that will remain a very big challenge, Mr. Vesha. And I think from my understanding, where UNDP is coming from, they are saying like energy can be two-pronged. Energy addressing mitigation component, then also energy addressing adaptation component. So they are saying now if they've provided a solar mini grid, it's addressing the two components, both adaptation and mitigation. But for them now to separate now the finances at that stage is no longer possible.
It's very
because
difficult.
energy is now promoting climate, access to renewable energy is now supporting climate smart agriculture in terms of irrigation. Then it's also supporting the mitigation component in terms of reducing reliance on the conventional grid. But now for them to be able to then separate now the finances, that is not possible. I think these are the issues that they are raising.
Yeah, so that's the issue they are raising, to say those nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
It's too much. So they are saying actually you are demanding quite a lot of information. So they are saying the system is quite demanding. Actually, the marker. So that's one major issue you are getting from the feedback. So I don't know on that one how we can address.
Yeah, since this is sort of like a preparatory meeting to that engagement meeting with the broader stakeholders, I think for the purpose of this meeting is for us to be aware, but we will then stand to hear from them directly in terms of where exactly the issues are, and we can then jointly work together in terms of seeing how best we can have the system reviewed for the better. Have you picked that one, Mr. Fisher?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, Emily, you're asking about what stops the implementation of some of the recommendations which were made from the Bulawayo workshop. So this is one issue which were discussing. Because the partners, they are saying they are, especially when the information disaggregated according to sectors, they were not able to disaggregate to that point. Then possibly is another issue. Then there was also a suggestion during the Blawayo workshop to say, actually they say, let us try to replace complex terminologies. I'm not sure. One of the terminologies or the terms which were said to be complex was the streamline climate change. So there was thinking that maybe partners might not understand when the system asks to say, does the project mainstream climate change? So can we find some better terminologies which can replace this word mainstream climate change? So that maybe you can find a simple expression which partners can understand. So that was another issue which was raised during the Lawai workshop. I understand there was a proposal for a word. Emily, I tend to forget the word, but I think there was a proposal for a word to replace mainstream climate change. Do you still remember it? Hello?
Yeah, I think you might be correct, Mr. Fisher. Maybe it might be other complex terms, but I think in terms of mainstreaming climate change, I don't think there will be any development partner who does not know what climate change mainstreaming is. And
Yeah,
if indeed he doesn't know that, it basically means that project is not mainstreaming climate change.
Yeah, that was also my thinking to see.
I think
I
maybe it
was
might
thinking that,
be other terms. We might then need to check from the notes from the Blawayo meeting.
yeah, but anyway, there's no harm. We agreed to say we'll change it. It's a matter of just submitting to the system developers or system designers so that they can change and put the preferred terminology. Then what was another issue?
Can I come in, colleagues? Mr. Veja.
Yes, you can come in.
Yeah, I think the one problem we have is that maybe our development partners will be using the wrong people in terms of entering the data. Because for us here, within this meeting, we are technical people, and we are the ones practitioners in terms of climate change or climate finance and so forth. So we understand what it is. And people at the same level as us in these development organizations, they understand what it is. When we say climate finance, I think it would be very easy for them to fill in this. But the challenge is that most of these financial things are not done by technical people in the development organizations. They have very clear guidelines between someone who does the finance and so forth, and someone who then does the technical work on the ground. So probably it might be a project analyst or a financial analyst who will be doing, who will be, or someone in monitoring and evaluation office who will be given this task to do. And if they are not technical in terms of the climate part of it, then yes, they would not understand what is required of them from the system. I think that's the main challenge here, in that the way we operate and the way that organizations such as UNDP operate, or UNICEF or WFP, it's a bit different. I think we crafted the system from our own image, from our own perspective as government, but our colleagues on the other side, they operate differently from how we operate. It's back to you, colleagues.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Mwati, you're 100% correct on that one. Because most of the users who are providing us with this project information, they are from M&E departments, from development partners. But however, as we have seen when I was presenting the system, there are some financial information which is required, the disbursements, the commitments, and so forth. So those guys from the M&E were also working with their accounts sections or finance sections so that they will get the information pertaining to the financial information. So when we come up with this marker, we thought as well that the M&E colleagues will also work with their colleagues who are experts on climate change issues, like the UK, which we are talking about. We understand there is a desk or there are experts on climate change issues. So our understanding is the one who is uploading the projects, when it comes to climate change issues, then obviously they will be working with the specialist in their sections. But then it's unfortunate that a number of partners, there is just support projects. And the intervention on climate change, sometimes it might be on default, not by planning. Then when it happens like that, it's quite difficult for them come up with that information. But for those, if the intervention is planned, like the CAWEP which we are talking about, that one we have to get information, because from the planning stage, I think there are elements and they are disaggregated, you can get the information. But for those partners where the intervention might be default, for instance, we are talking of it's trying to address two issues to do with the drought. Then you are it's WFP. You want to intervene on issues to do with the drought. Then you ended up maybe doing things such as drilling bores as a component, as a part component of your project, to make sure that people will get clean water supply. So what it means is normally their aim is not on drilling bores. The drilling bore maybe is just by default. So with that kind of support, that's where we are facing challenge. Then another point which we raised is we developed this system on our own perspective. We were supposed to share with partners. Then we get their feedback. Are they comfortable in populating this one? I think that stage was not done, of which is important if we can, if possible, if it can be revisited. Because we were supposed, these are the people who are supposed to provide information. We just designed the marker and just asked them to populate. So that now we are now getting the feedback, which is not good for us. So I think it's an area which we need to look at to say, can we go back to the partners and say, this is what we have designed. Are you able to populate? Where are you facing challenges? How do you think we can adjust so that they are able to provide information and we are also continue to get the important information which we want from that mark?
Well noted, Mr. Veja.
Mr. Vesha, I also wanted to find out, is there anywhere where we can pick the credentials of the focal points from the various entities that are responsible for this reporting, like the name, the title, the contact details.
Or for the system allows you to get the users pertaining to your ministry, or the users who are implementing a project which impact your programs or sub-programs. Yeah, I'm seeing no record found. Let me look on another project.
Because it will also be good just to appreciate the nature of the focal points that are providing this information to the system across the various development partners that have started reporting.
Let me try to open one of the projects to see if.
Okay.
Right, so you see this project which I opened. Let me go to here, general information. So this project was ended by, should be JICA, under Japan, enhancing resilience of communities. So they cited that they are supporting defense and security. So if you go on notes and attachment, it will show you the users under the ministry which has been cited. But if you want the general users in the system under security, we have the users.
No, I wondered, for each and every project, is there somewhere where we can retrieve the focal points from those development partners that are responsible for reporting?
So for each and every project, the one who has uploaded the project will be indicated like this. If I go to CAWEP, so this one, it shows the one who has created the project here. So you know the institution and you also know by name. For this one, it's Blessing Muchema. The institution is UNDP.
Also, beyond that, there's no there's no detailed information about Blessing Mchemwa in terms of who is Blessing Mchemwa and contact details and so forth. Because I wanted to for us to be able to do an analysis from the system in terms of the relevance of the focal points that are supplying us with this kind of data in the system, so that at least we can then be able to tell whether our problem is emanating from the focal points who might be divorced of the components under implementation project by project, or it can be another separate explanation.
Okay, so we have what we call a development partner profile. So on development partner profile, that's where you get the profiles for all the partners who are uploading their projects in the system. So you also get the information. It's unfortunate that not all are providing the details. But for instance, if it's UNDP, if you want further information, you can go on development partner profile, where you can see their projects and also the details. I think here, request them to provide their information here.
Yes.
But as you can
Okay.
see,
Yes.
most of them, they are not providing. But it's a matter of
Can
just
you just try
enforcing.
to query by that Blessing Mchema?
Mhm.
Can you just try to query by Blessing Mchema that at least we see if that information is there?
You cannot. There's no platform for that.
That's the one that I was asking
Research.
for. So that at least we can check the credibility of the focal points that are supplying the information. I think there's those issues that were raised that maybe the issue is emanating from the fact that those that are providing the information are divorced of the issues to do with the project. So they might not understand some of the terms that we are using. So yeah, so we're only going to be able to get that if their names were also appearing there, the name, the position, and so forth. You then start to say, okay, I think with this position, yes, it might be difficult for this person to be able to articulate the components under this project.
It's okay. On this one, I can assist. It's an issue of just making follow-up so that they can populate here. It's not a challenge. Though I know most of them, they can populate putting their positions so that you can do that analysis.
Okay. And I think it's something that we can explore further as we then meet with them now, because they will be able to speak to all these issues.
Yeah, so I think that's one important takeaway that is for Mr. Moat to say, as we engage the partners, I think the first thing is let us know that this thing is new to them. It's our marker. They don't know it as they've indicated. So we want to get to hear from them to say, how much do they understand about this marker first, so that maybe we can have the starting point.
Yeah, I think you are correct, Mr. Fisher. Yeah, so basically, so that's the system, which basically means, Mr. Fisher, with those credentials that you shared with us, we are also able to log in and maneuver through the system like you've been doing, eh?
Yeah, as well as uploading even the projects which we are implementing. So even
Okay,
though you are
those
primary
credentials have those
implementers,
rights.
secondary implementers,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Then, Mr. Doba, there was
Yes.
also an issue which came up when we were discussing about this uploading of projects in the system. Because as you can see, these projects are mainly uploaded by development partners. So there was also a thinking to say, wasn't it going to be easy if we allow the line ministries to upload the projects? So as I was presenting the system, I wanted feedback from you to say, with the information which is required pertaining to the project, do you think the line ministry, given that they are secondary implementers, will be able to provide that information, especially with regards to financial information?
Yeah, I think from where I'm seated, it's an issue of coordination. Like as Minister of Environment, now we are able to access the system, we are able to view the projects that have been reported, and with the background that we have, we know which projects are still to be uploaded. So we can then come in playing that coordination role now in terms of trying to reach out to our partners, whether it be UNDP, UNICEF, UNESCO, and ensure that we have those projects uploaded. One good thing with the development partners is they have a full understanding of the whole project document, and also the other component like we were raising around finances. I think it's just a matter of coordination, working together, and we can also be able to sit down together and see through this. Because you realize that this is something that is more of like once off. We have it captured there. We dedicate just 1 week. That's completed. So I think it's more on creating awareness around this system and ensure that the various key line ministries, departments, and agencies start working with their development partners and ensure that all those projects that they are providing oversight, they are captured and reported through this system.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, another proposal from the workshop in Bulawayo was to align climate finance tagging categories with the real marker classifications. People thought that this will simplify some of the challenges which the partners are facing. So I don't know from your end, how do you see it? Where they are not able to disaggregate, then they were saying we can also come up with a standardized scale to determine the adaptation portion of category 1 projects using the real marker. This one was from the consultant, but I don't know from the ministry point of view, how much do you understand about this real marker, and is it something which we can take into consideration?
If I may, I think the real markers, because looking at the workshop report from Bulawayo, it does simplify. So basically saying addressing the issue to do with understanding what adaptation is, what mitigation is, if there's mainstreaming of climate change and so forth. So the real markers will basically just say there's either full alignment with climate change management, partial alignment, or there's no alignment. I'm not too sure though how it would then work with the tagging of the actual funding that has been provided to the country, because then I think maybe my fear is that we would then be over-reporting on some of the monies that may or may not be allocated to climate change. But that's just my perspective. I think it will simplify, but I'm not too sure how it works with then inputting the financing around climate change related activities.
Okay, so I think you can help us on that one. Look on how the marker is structured, and if you are to consider this real markers, what will be the impact, and are we going to get the information which we want? I think you can assist us on that one.
That's fine.
So what are we saying now is, for the meantime, are we going with this marker as it is to get the feedback from the partners, or you think we need to make some changes? Do you need us to make some of the recommendations can be implemented, like the terminologies one? How do you want us to proceed?
Can I come in?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Veja, I just want to maybe take you back a bit. Maybe you highlighted it and I did not get it. But our development partners, have we taken them through any kind of training in terms of using this platform? And are we, approximately how many development partners are we looking at? I'm just talking of the ones that the Ministry of Finance acknowledges that these ones are working in Zimbabwe, if you have any kind of a approximate number or a figure to see whether if it's not possible, because I believe our system was meant to be as simple as possible. Do you have any climate finance in your project? Yes, no. Is it adaptation? Is it cross-cutting? Is it mitigation? And approximately how much money goes to A, B, C, A, B, or C, something like that. So I am just thinking aloud that maybe if we know all of them, if it's possible, if they haven't been trained, if it's possible that a training practical exercise can be done, and then we move from there.
Yeah.
And also before I conclude, also our system, the way we have designed it here, is to accommodate Zimbabwe's reporting to the UNFCCC. So you find that Zimbabwe is reporting to the UNFCCC. It's simply how much climate finance have you received as a country, and then how much of that was adaptation, how much was mitigation, and how much was cross-cutting. So hence the design that we have. It's over. Back to you.
Okay, Mr. Mwat. Yeah, indeed, the system was designed so that it helps us when you are making our reportings on climate change issues. So that's how we designed it. But like you are saying, maybe the mistake which we made when we designed it, we also didn't consider those who are going to provide information. Yes, this is how we want the system. We design it the way we want the system as we are going to report. But I think we also didn't consider those who are going to provide information. Are they able to provide that information which you want? So somehow I think if we had that platform, somehow maybe we're going to compromise, to come and agree to say, okay, this is how we want Zimbabwe to be reporting on climate change issues, but this information, we cannot get it. So I think we need to get to that position where we can compromise to say, what can we get and what can we not get? If there are any solutions, then they will come up. But first to identify what exactly can we get and what we cannot get. So far, the partners, they are clear to say, if it is only to take, to say, yes, it's the intervention support climate change issues, they are able to provide that information. But where they are facing challenges is the disaggregation when it comes to amount. So if we can find a way on that one. Then about training, we have done several training workshops with them and refresher trainings. We are continuing doing trainings, especially on the use of the system. So about the capacity on how to use the system, we have no challenges, but it's only how to provide that information, especially on the climate change mark, is concerned.
And Mr. Veja, I think also, I think to me, the training should be able to address two issues.
Mm-hmm.
One is capacity building to ensure that our development partners supplying the information understands the expectations. Then secondly, it's also an opportunity again to get the issues that they are grappling with an objective to then further refine the system and ensure that whatever is asking from the development partners is something that they can provide. So I think this is the difference that we now. That is just an issue of technicality, or it's something that is not available. It's information that they cannot be able to get. After that training, we can agree to adjust certain indicators or else come out and say, okay, with these indicators, it was just an issue of understanding the terminology, but through the training, now our focal points understand and are able to then provide the information. So I think let this next step be able to address these two issues.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Maybe if you can move forward, looking specifically on these 2 points which you highlighted, I think they can help us to see where there's need improvement and how we can go about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think with this, we can now start planning around that engagement meeting. And in terms of that engagement meeting, let's try as much as possible to identify all the key players that we have in the space that are actually implementing projects out there, and ensure that they then become part of this engagement, capacity building, and capacity building in terms of them understanding the system, and also in terms of us further reviewing and strengthening the system, so that after that engagement, at least we are able to come back and have a similar meeting again, where we then agree on what needs to be done around all those areas that we have been having some bit of challenges from our reported from our partners. Yeah, so I think this has been very end, Mr. Feja, and would like to thank you so
Sorry, I
much.
have a question, Mr. Doba.
Yes, Munash.
I think I
Hello,
wanted
Munash.
to also highlight that the system is focusing on adaptation and mitigation, but doesn't really cater for capacity building, and I think technology development and transfer issues. I think, I don't know, yeah, I think it's a question to everyone to say, would we need to include these so that we can also track finances that are being given towards capacity building and maybe technical assistance as well.
Yeah, so all those are some of the proposals that are also even going to come, I think, as we also engage with these partners, because they have monies that come directly addressing all those issues, but at times they then fail to report them through the system because the options are not available. So I think with this training, we should be able to come out with a bag full of issues that we then need to sit down on and ensure that they are addressed and we have the system redeployed.
Okay, great. I have
Okay,
another
colleagues.
question.
I beg to differ, Mr. Doba.
Yes.
Because as it is, we are facing people who are saying that the system is complicated. We need more capacity in terms of what is already there, and then introducing another subject matter, capacity building, it will create more problems, because the capacity building they might have capacity building on gender, capacity building on health and wash issues, capacity building. It comes back to the same problem again. I think an even greater problem in terms of what is capacity building, what component of that capacity building is actually going to capacity building for climate and climate finance. And also noting that climate change is normally taken as a broadcasting issue that is embedded within other main issues, so to speak.
So what are you proposing?
My proposal is that we try and solve the problem at hand that we have at the moment before adding other things. Well, once we have people understand what exactly we are trying to achieve, and then after that we can then over time then add other components incrementally as we go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm proposing. That I think they are, even when we meet with them, they're also going to be raising a whole lot of other issues. But after that meeting, we then need to come back now and have a similar meeting, which is this technical meeting that we are having, and we agree on how to then want to address each and every one of the issues. So I think we are aligned.
Great. I had another question. This one is directed to Veja.
Yes, you know, it's okay.
To,
It's okay, Mnashe, you can proceed.
Yeah, to say the rights that have been already given, do these extend to private sector stakeholders as well, who may be in the climate change space and leveraging or accessing money from international investors for climate change within the country? And if there's scope to add more entities that can input into the system.
Yes, Mr. Veja.
Yes, there's scope to add all those other institutions. And once we add them as the users of the system, they will be accorded the rights according to the specific functions which are that they are going to perform in the system. So the system allows all the stakeholders, all the participants to be able to perform whatever the important functions or activities in the implementation of the project. But as long as you provide to us those institutions which you think, for instance, if you are working with a private player, or if you feel that there's a private player who is doing some interventions on climate change and we need to capture the information, we just have to create the credentials. And as we create the credentials, we will then assign the rights so that they will be able to perform whatever they're supposed to perform. So the system is open.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Veja, I think that is very clear. One thing that I wanted to find out, I'm still to interact with the system. Isn't there anywhere in the system where a prospective user, which is an entity that has interventions that is implementing and would want those interventions reported through the DEVPROMIS, be able to approach the system and express interest for account opening?
Yeah, this can only be done through our website. So on our website, we provided the link where you can access the system. You can access the system as a public viewer. So if you are interested, you have got information which you want to provide. Within that link, there are contact people, then whom you can then contact to say, I've seen this page and this information. I think I can also make a contribution to this. How can I make a contribution? Then we can start the conversation.
Okay, yeah, I think it's something that we can explore further. Okay, colleagues, any other follow-up questions, issues? I don't seem to see any hand up. Yeah, so Mr. Veja, thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you so much for this meeting of minds. I think it has been worth it, and it has also assisted some of us to understand how this system is structured, and also some of the challenges that the system is experiencing. So I think, Mr. Veja, Mnashe, beyond this meeting, you need to touch base again, and so that at least we kickstart the planning process for the main meeting that we wanted to convene with the development partners. Otherwise, thank you so much, and the meeting has come to an end.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doba. Thank you, colleagues, for your time.
What PS?